Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the BTS series America's number 3. Here we have ourselves a best of 3 series in round 1 of the tournament. We've got Team Archon versus Evernova. So, of course, the well-known Archon that have made it through the Shanghai Major qualifier for Americas, and then Evernova, kind of a up-and-coming roster of a couple of familiar faces and some new ones. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. And we're going to be jumping right into it as the draft is already underway. So, going to welcome in my co-caster, myself and Blaze, but I am joined by none other than MotPax. How are you going, man?
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, I'm doing pretty well here. I gotta say, I feel like I'm going crazy. I was coming into this and I was looking, Team Archon, like going through those first 4 bands, the way that it wound up and they had the first pick, I thought for sure they were going to take the Earth Spirit. I mean, you look back on both these teams, Evernova themselves have picked it in, let me see here, 6 out of their last 10 matches. They've gone with the Earth Spirit. And Team Archon as well. They've been firing through game, picking it up too, and it's been highly contested. First pick, first ban. And they always want to pick a roamer for Whitebeard, be it this Pudge they've done a little bit of Marana, they've gone ahead with a couple other heroes in the same kind of capacity, and he's still going totally unmentioned, so I don't know. Archon did end up opening up with the Dazzle, and very versatile in the 5th role, and then moving into Night Stalker, Bat Rider, and then the answer back for the Invoker in that first phase.
Yeah. I really like Evernova's open, honestly. The fact is, the Vengeful Spirit ban in Phase 1 from Archon enables 2 heroes to compete on a higher level, the Bat Rider and the Faceless Void. Not having to worry about swap to break the lasso or to pull somebody out of Chronosphere enables those 2 offlaners in particular to bring a lot more to the table in terms of initiation, in terms of just in general controlling the map. So I like that they were able to not only pick up the Bat Rider, one of those 2, but then also get the soft counter in the Night Stalker, who is all about controlling the enemy's vision. If you get the Darkness out, it's going to really restrict an opponent, such as Bat Rider. So I would definitely consider Night Stalker to be kind of that pseudo-counter, or pseudo-denial pick, in the sense that they want the Bat Rider to be able to see freely, as well as just a good pick against the first pick, the Dazzle. You get to silence the Dazzle, prevent that Grave, and actually focus your kill target. So I think there's a lot of value in Evernova's opener, but now they're progressing towards something a little bit different here, going for the Viper, the Disruptor. The Bat Rider is going to be able to set up the AoE of the Disruptor nicely, because as you pull somebody away from their safe zone, then the Disruptor can pretty much prevent anybody that follows that up from actually accomplishing much, thanks to the kinetic and the static storm. So all in all, there's a lot of elements to the draft that I really like, but Archon have a lot of high execution heroes that if they can pull out some really good micromanagement of the Brewlings, if they can just throw out tons of spells with the Invoker, I feel like Archon have so much more potential with their lineup just because of the high skill cap and high value of these heroes.
Yeah, no, I just don't even know, man. And now the Night Star Barrett, I'm definitely okay with it. I understand the synergy and everything behind it, but it's so strange to, after we've been watching all these, tier 1 tournaments and everything like that, going in for Death Prophet and Faceless Void. Such a strong, 1-2 opener in the second phase, and with the Venge already banned out, that is definitely the #1 thing you might have seen. You might have even seen Earth Spirit, Faceless Void as a combination here. So definitely teams, maybe just picking around a little bit, trying out some different stuff perhaps, and just think that, maybe themselves are more comfortable on. Either way, one thing we are going to get this game is some would say one of the forgotten heroes this patch. We've seen a couple off-lane Brewmasters, but at the start, people were kind of hyping them up like it was going to be a big deal. And then the new big thing, it's the Morphling.
Most definitely. China definitely made sure that meta fit the international one, as everybody's starting to make their adaptations. As that's Morphing's specialty, adapting to the flow of combat. If he needs to play more defensively, he has that option. Obviously has a lot of great offensive potential as well. A little dangerous to pick him up against 2 silences though. The Crippling Fear means you can't push as aggressively. He'll probably be having to rush Linkets this game, which is a very defensive pickup that doesn't really naturally increase his farm rate, just his ability to farm in more dangerous zones. And then you always have to be worried about that static storm. Just if the Disruptor comes out of an Invis Rune, a Glimmer Cape, or just blinking in, there are possibilities that you could just be dead before you know it. You'd be getting caught inside that kinetic static and them having the ability to nuke you down. So the Morphling will have to play it very carefully. Evernova here is going to be at their last pick for their carry position. Looking at Rain's history, it's all hard carries. We've got Spectre and Medusa in his last 2, Luna and Jug Terrorblade right before that. So we have a lot of hard carries in the pool that he wants to look into. Is there anything that comes to mind that would be strong against Archon's heroes?
In terms of the overall lockdown, you are not really looking at all that much on Archon, so something along the lines of the Ember Spirit or the Anti-Mage is what they're going to be going with here. Brewmaster is a great hero in a lot of these like early skirmishes. Going on late into the game, he does kind of fall off. You know, your Broodlings can be destroyed, they get cleaved down or something like that, and they're just dead, you know, against Svens, against Anti-Mages. And ideally, you want him in these situations where you can just toss someone up in the air, like the Anti-Mage, throughout that timing. Maybe when he does come in, Brewmaster might actually be able to deal with him, but they're not going to kill the Anti-Mage, you know what I mean? They're just going to be helping to reduce his impact. And man, you got to love having Anti-Mage up against Morphling, too.
Absolutely. So Tusk is going to be the last pick here, finalizing the rosters for both sides. Archon pulling out this hero as kind of the roaming support that can still provide some of that lockdown that we're lacking. The Snowball, the Walrus Punch, very powerful against the Anti-Mage. So I think that there is some great potential for Whitebeard to make some early plays happen across the map and for Archon to take control of this game. But I'm not going to count Evernova out. Like, while the current betting ratio is 82 to 18 and so many people are favoring Archon, I got to say that Evernova have a lot of potential with the lineup if they're able to execute crisply. The Night Stalker's where he needs to be in terms of ganking, in terms of counter ganking. If the Batrider gets a good start, I think that's going to be a really big deal. So across the board, we see good potential for both sides, but Evernova have a lot more to prove. While some people are being a little bit mean in the chat by saying nobody knows these guys, we have a couple of familiar faces. We have Mercy Please, who played on Void Boys for an extended period of time. Derp, probably his most well-known team was Wheel Wreck while whistling, I believe was the name, but he's played on a couple others, plenty of others that I've cast and that I consider quality teams. So as a whole, I think that there's definitely some potential with this lineup, and we'll just have to see the value of these other three members.
All right, well, it wouldn't be Dota without the pause, as we always tend to say, but we're getting the go calls. All right, we're ready to rock here. It doesn't look like we'll be anything too crazy here in terms of the overall laning. You know, Move's going to be on this little bit of an offlane Brewmaster we talked about. Jo, of course, loves himself these hard farming carries. Heading into the safe lane, and any sort of shenanigans with the Anti-Mage, I suppose, would be the real question. If they do end up, you know, doing, are they going to go a little bit aggro with them?
I mean, they could go for dynamic lanes here. We do see Raid making his way down towards that bottom lane. So I guess what this would accomplish is allow the Batrider to get the guaranteed Blink Dagger. If we get the Batrider up top, and then he gets to very conveniently tap into the jungle and then go right back to the lane, we're going to see an insanely good Blink Dagger timing, where he's going to be able to get involved, start initiating, and start finding kills, mostly on the Invoker, but perhaps the Brewmaster as well. So I think that it's a good idea to get that Batrider involved. The question is how the Anti-Mage fares bottom. Yeah, he'll obviously look for some early mana break after the Blink, and he'll probably just try to get some free hits on the Morphling. Yeah, a Morphling without mana is just nothing. He's worse than a range creep, honestly. But all the same, I'm sure that Archon aren't going to really give the AM the chance. We'll see how Dazzle and Tusk look to bully him back.
All right, well, they're setting up for the rune battles here. Shouldn't be anything too wild, I don't think. You know, probably just going to be zoned out a little bit here from Let Me Go, coming in with this poison attack. And yeah, there's nothing really to do. Tusk is just so scary. Every single one of these rune engagements, you just don't want to deal with it. So they'll give that one up, and Rain's just camping the bottom one. So easy gaming here. Each team going to be grabbing themselves one, and we're going to have a Morphling versus Anti-Mage lane.
Yeah. Not just going to be that classic matchup in terms of who's going to come online faster, who's going to be able to carry the game. It is going to be a direct head-to-head matchup in the lane confrontation. So the Dazzle will be able to contribute just with the Shadow Wave whenever AM hits the Creep Wave. I think the AM's going to have to commit to, you can see it right now. He's already committed to a lot of regen because he knows it's going to be a tough bout of harassment. With only 2 armor early, Dazzle's got the ability to damage him, and yeah, he's going to go for the 2 tangos and a healing salve while going for that PMS. But we're going to see Derp actually take a decent bit of damage here. It's not going to be enough to kill him, I don't think. Actually, doesn't have a Fairy Fire. They're dropping him very low, but it is going to be now Rain that turns onto Fluff and stuff. Fluff went for the dot early on. He thought he had some kill potential with that Poison Touch, and while that will allow him to get some distance from Rain, it isn't the easiest thing in terms of keeping himself alive. We'll see Derp just go ahead, suicide to Ancients, bought his TP scroll, so only loses about 20 gold, and that's going to allow him to get back to the lane with full HP, which is probably the most efficient way to help out the Anti-Mage as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing the effect here. Like, Dazzle just such a better support when it comes to these dual lanes than you're going to get from a Disruptor. Like, Derp can do everything he can, but he's at a massive disadvantage. The second this Shadow Wave comes online, it gets so dangerous for Rain to come in, right? Because of his physical damage. Oh, that would have been such a big cancel.
Yeah,
but With physical damage, it doesn't matter if you're even going to take that casual point in the spell shield early. It's going to be a lot of harass on top of Rain, and there's really nothing different for you to do about it.
Yeah. But even still, like, as good as Dazzle is by comparison to Disruptor, I actually feel like the Anti-Mage is that much better than the Morphling. Like, he's taken away all the Morphling's mana. He's now got a Poor Man Shield, so the auto attacks don't mean nearly as much. I just feel like now, while Fluff can contribute a lot to the lane, the Morphling is just here to hit creeps. He doesn't really have any other choice. Maybe with like a Mango, he has some threat with like just the ability to quickly grab a waveform in or out. I think that creates some value, but right now I think they need a Chelsea to make their way bottom. Actually, it's gonna be the Sunstrike, but Let Me Go will juke it. Very nice movement there. Otherwise, he probably would have been the first blood.
Yeah, and again, Rain, he is keeping up this nice bit of harass here, taking good control over JO's mana, and every time Fluff and Stuff just leaves for a moment, whether it's to, you know, try and manage a camp, try and go down and secure a rune, he's just eating so much mana burn. And you can just see, like as you mentioned, he really does kind of need this Mango going on here. Is Rain just burning every last drop.
Ooh, Fluff and Stuff now going to be dropping down to 90 HP without any HP restoration. Morphling, look at him. He's out as well. Going to be faring himself a Clarity and a Healing Salve. I feel like right now Archon are completely out of the bottom lane. There's nothing left in the tank for them. Fluff and Stuff has enough for maybe 2 Shadow Waves, and if he gives the Clarity, he'll have plenty more. But right now, it's a lot of pressure on Jo.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like they're going to need some sort of a rotation here. The only problem is if he leaves Mu alone, there's most certainly the chance that he's going to go down. And top
under
lane.
the tower here. Snowball and the Ice Shards are available, but that Firefly would just speed him away. So instead, under tower is a Brewmaster with 6 Napalm stacks. That is going to allow the Batrider to do a lot of damage, if not for the threat of the Tusk. So, like you said, it's actually very difficult to for the Batrider bully back move because of the Tusk's presence, and of course because of that early Magic Stick.
Alright, well, mid lane Monkeys, he's the poison attack here, and there's the Fairy Fire. Keep him alive, and he's got himself his... Actually, yeah, did he just buy a bottle and send it? Yeah. So not the most common thing you see on your Invokers, but kind of understandable up against the Viper here, and all the harass can be taken. Quas won't be enough, it seems, in terms of the regen.
Yeah, if he got a little bit more help from the lane, this would not be a necessary pickup, and I would consider it like... I wouldn't say a waste, but like half of it is not going to be as efficient as he wants it to be. Still, it's going to give him the top rune refill, and he's going to have plenty of HP and mana. So if only for this refill right here, where he gets essentially all 6 bottle charges instantly, that alone puts him back in the lane and is nearly worth 700. I'd say it's like worth 450, but again, it comes down to how much help he's going to get from his allies in the lane.
Yeah, bottom lane's starting to go quite a bit better here. Overall for Archon, considering the start, only 4 CS down on the Morphling. Those levels into the Shadow Wave are starting to come online, and you're seeing the effect of it too. So probably the next big step is, now that we're past this 4-minute mark here, it's going to be what can Mercy Please actually get done. If he wants to contribute to the bottom lane, he's going to go to the mid lane. Either way, I think he's a really good chance of a kill, and a mid just seems so volatile right now.
Mercy Please going to go in with the Void here. A lot of damage coming into Monkey's Forever. He'll try to drop that Ice Wall, but it won't affect the Viper at all. Hell, the Night Stalker walks right through it with the Hunter in the Night movement speed, and he's going to draw the first blood. Mercy Please, if I haven't really focused on it, but it has been clearly on the minimap. Oh, actually, Brewmaster unable to kill off the Batrider in time, and now the Batrider will fight it out against Whitebeard. One more attack is going to do it. Whitebeard can't get the spell off in time. He tries to fight it out, but it's going to be the Batrider claiming 2 lives here on the top.
Bottom lane.
Very nicely done. Now this move again, the Night Stalker gets the silence out on Fluff, so he's certainly dead, and they make the move on Jo, who has the waveform away. Night Stalker's really showing his value, but a glimpse back on Whitebeard. He doesn't snowball it, and that's going to be a very sad Tusk all the way back home.
Jeez, you're talking about coming online here for Mercy Please. He's ready to go. That Iron Talon. We've seen this quite a bit at MDL as well, just being able to farm up so much and be completely ready for this nighttime. Like, he's the same level as Jo. You got to be happy with that when you're just coming out of the jungle. And going around, he's going to be creating so many threats. And now with Viper Strike online in the mid lane, as you can see, he's not going to be skipping it. You know, a lot of Vipers not taking it 6. This will not be the case with Mercy Please in the area. And but 3 heroes.
They've got that extended night vision. Monkey's Forever doesn't know what's lurking in the shadows. He will get silenced. One uphill miss on the auto attacks, though, and there is a Fluff and Stuff response. No grave, but enough with just the heal that they'll be forced back. But even then, it's 3 heroes committed mid just to barely keep the Invoker alive. It's scary stuff for Archon. Right now, this Night Stalker is in his prime, and he is just finding all the openings. So this is really going to be hurting the Morphling consequentially, because there's no support bottom, and the Night Stalker is just completely dictating the pace of this game right now. Again, it was all about his start. What they actually got to do for the Evernova Night Stalker is just give him the Iron Talon from the beginning of the game. With a set of Tangos and Iron Talon, Night Stalker has enough base armor and base HP regen just to very efficiently jungle for himself up to level 3. Night Stalker at level 3 is in a good position to gank, so he just grabs the boots and gets to hunting, and so far it's been quite successful.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, if you guys ever want to like try this out in your pubs, you grab yourself one of those nice little, the mini Satyr camps is great for EXP as well, really easy for him to take down. It's unbelievable just how much early presence you can accomplish, but we all know how junglers go in your pub games. Monkeys, you know, he's finding out right now what happens.
Yeah, he's going to try to do a little bit of damage return, but it's not going to amount to much at all, and it's just so much pressure coming out. Evernova already up to no good, making some really good aggressive plays happen. And I will have to clarify, MotPax, your comment about people doing this in their pubs. Make sure you have courier and wards first. Make sure you're not the only support in the Night Stalker, and make sure you can contribute it that way before you worry about your Iron Talon.
That's why Dirk's such a hero, man. Look at this. Magic Stick, Shared Tango. That's a value player right there. And well, level 6 is now online here for Rain, so now JO's going to be like terrified down here. He's got to be feeling the heat. And you can see Rain starting to immediately apply this pressure as well, because now you're up to 3 points into the glimpse. This is such a dangerous place for JO to be.
Absolutely. Of course, you don't have to work with the Static Storm just yet, but even still, just a couple of hits here and there with the mana break is quite frustrating for you. So I'd love to talk about the potential value of getting a second point in mana break so you get that much more mana burn whenever you hit JO here, but I actually like this deviation to Spell Shield as well, because there is a lot of magic damage coming out. The Blink Flap from the Brewmaster, if he was going Blink Rush, but it looks like he is in fact not. But also, of course, the Waveform and the Invoker has a couple of really good magic spells. So it's not very common you'll see a second point in the Spell Shield this early on, but he thinks he's going to get the value out of it. And oh my goodness, the value haste through.
So frustrating.
Allowing them to just go right hard on the Viper. Great smoke play, great preemptive bait, and that's going to be a Brewmaster moving forward. Like, imagine the Viper gets the haste rune. He probably has skill potential on the Invoker.
Oh, they're bringing JO back, bottom.
Oh, looks like it is going to be that kinetic, and now he's out of mana. Waveform was used, but it's not going to be enough to get him out.
Doesn't even want to use it.
This is such a big kill, but it's going to go to the Disruptor at the very least. So Disruptor suddenly jumping up from 500 net worth to 900. That's a pretty big boost for him. But
thanks for the boots, Rain.
Exactly. Mercy Please actually going to get hit by this Brew Split, but he's got a lot of armor to him. These creeps don't do that much damage. Oh, the Dazzle will, though, with the Shadow Wave, and that will be enough to bring Mercy Please down. If not for the Shadow Wave, I actually think that kill doesn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. That was pretty cute, actually. Just going right into the split Shadow Wave. Very, Tusk-related kind of deal. Snowball in, Naga illusions. All kinds of fun stuff you can still do with your Dazzle. One of those heroes that certainly fell off with Oracle coming out now, starting to creep back up to the top of the list. Like we saw OG first pick it a few times. Of course, Fly, known for his great Dazzle play as well. So, not a hero I expect to fall off again anytime soon.
Nah, he still, of course, creates a lot of value, and you can't beat Grave, man. Unless Axe suddenly becomes that high-tier pick. Shallow Grave is just one of the end-all be-alls in terms of enabling the more aggressive cores to get involved. But
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We'll see right now them stalking extensively. They want to go for the snowball play. They're going to go for it now. Cold Snap and the Ice Shards, but immediately Darkness comes out, and they're going to turn this. They may lose the Viper. They will lose the Viper, but they get Whitebeard in return and will now look for one more. No, that's unfortunately going to be it, as it is more heroes committed by Archon, but of course, just being able to respond to that, to allow the anti-mage to continue to free farm to a massive net worth advantage. I feel like, all in all, Evernova aren't too unhappy about that, but they do want a little bit
Fluff. More. This is such a classic Fluff play where he's just out in the middle of nowhere doing his wards. He's going to pay for it this time, though. I don't think any Grave TV. You see him holding that Flame Break and shit. It's not going to happen. He doesn't even have the mana for it anyway.
So he's going to try to neutralize. It's not going to happen. There's a Hero Mana Void as Morphling goes down. The AM just kind of runs the Morphling down. He doesn't have enough mana for the Waveform, so he couldn't get out of there.
Oh, dangerous spot, though.
And the Anti-Mage is actually going to be going down face-to-face to the Whitebeard Tusk. Now the Tusk will fall inside that Static Storm, inside the Firefly. Monkeys Forever has that DD rune, but a blink away from the Batrider. Very nicely done there. Still pursuing. Moo has the drums. He's popped them, but can't bypass that kinetic field.
All right, well, that was a little bit, a little bit deep there from the Anti-Mage. I'm not too sure about that. Considering one of the things that he did notice from the Batrider is that I thought he played it really well mid just by going for the last one, the Tusk. Like, yeah, it's annoying that you can't grasp something like the Invoker, but at least you are going to get a kill and a pick off, whereas you have to pull somebody far enough away from the Dazzle, right? Any other target, there's no way that would have went down in the mid lane, and it just would have been one free pick for Archon. So kind of the polar opposite there from that any mage, as he goes a little bit too deep.
Now, I didn't, since I was making sure the Dazzle doesn't get the neutral deny, I didn't get to see the exact exchange between Jo and Rain, but I do believe that if Jo had a Mango, that he probably would have been able to live there, getting the waveform out, getting some distance, getting closer to his allies to reinforce him. So Jo has had a rough game already. He doesn't want to spend another 125 gold just on a crutch.
They've got vision here. Are they smoked? They've got that ward.
They're going to have to get the Batrider lasso on him and some good hits. Obviously, the Crippling Fear would prevent him from getting his Toggle Morph on, but he's making his way towards mid slowly but surely. This guy's 330 MS compared to Night Stalker's 459, but they do not see his route of travel, so they won't be able to actually pincer him in. They're just going to commit to the bottom tier 1.
Alright, perhaps a little bit fortunate here from Derp, but oh, here's a TP coming in though. Oh, now he's ready. Come back. Oh, they're not going to go for this?
I mean, they don't know where anybody is on the map. The Brewmaster is missing off the map right now. They cannot see anything. They know they've got ultimates. It's just too scary to make any kind of initiation play while you're pushing bottom at the same time.
Apparently.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
I gotta say, with Tusk and Invoker under the tower, I thought they were gonna go for that, but they're just gonna play a little cool. You know, don't want to blow it here. They're up 10-4 in terms of the kill score. Overall in the net worth, it is only about a 2K lead, and obviously in terms of towers, they are a little bit behind here.
Alright, so we're gonna see Batrider actually get obliterated by a combo of spells here. Even despite the Static Storm, it seems like Archon have already gotten off to a good start. Jo's gonna take a lot of damage, have to morph some strength, but they're gonna pursue onto the Disruptor, just make it 2 kills as all of the nukes come out. But where do they go from here? They're like, they've just gotten 2 kills right outside the enemy base, but it's only 13 minutes in. You can't really follow that up with a high ground push in any way, so they're just gonna all walk as one. The buddy system making their way towards mid. They have gotten some critical kills without using too much in terms of spells. Like their ultimates are either short cooldown or
they're just not gonna let up. Oh, there we go. They just spotted them. Little peek there.
Trying to take advantage of the ward in play. Just if they come out, they're ready to punish it.
All right, well, in terms of towers left here, of course, the one standing in the mid, it doesn't seem like there's much slowing them down. You know you want to get online as fast as you can. You are racing against the clock here, up against the Anti-Mage. You know he went for the treads first. So the Battle Fury, it's going to be that pretty standard timing around the 16, 17-minute mark. Pretty typical these days. And interesting that Moo did opt for those drums as well. He is getting closer towards the Blink now. But, you know, that early, maybe Blink just wouldn't have been so effective. And Mercy, please. The Walrus Punch. Easy clean, easy pick off. They don't see that ward at the very least. So he'll have some more control over his jungle now.
A little bit more, but even so, like that ward is not optimally placed. Like you see, like it has so much obstructing it that you're not going to be able to see a lot behind the tree line. But we're actually going to see Moo just run in here with the drums, and he's like, "Okay, you want to come to my base? You want to come to my house? I'll welcome you here." As they pop the Static Storm, a nice little snowball pulls him out. The Grave was there as well, so he will get this split off. But what will it accomplish? We'll see a little bit of damage going to the Viper, but he's far too tanky, and it's just going to be a disengage here from the Brewmaster as quick as he can. No Blink Dagger, remind you, so if he doesn't get out quick, he's going to be in some trouble. But for now, they're putting some damage onto the Invoker. Ghost Walk is not going to be able to speed him away. They're going to go hard on him. They're going to bring him down. And now Moo is still trapped. He has no way out. He'll clap, but that's going to be the applause of his demise as we see 3-0 coming out for Evernova. They have lost some structural damage. The tower was finished off by the Radiant, but as a whole, Evernova strike back.
Well, that's one way to speed up the pickup of the Battle Fury as well. So, fresh little double kill, and Rain is ready to start farming over this map, sucking up some of those core items, your Yashas, your Vlads, or whatever sort of a combination you want to go for this game. And now you got to feel a little bit more pressure on Archon. Like, they obviously did get the tower, so they have eliminated both the middle and the top lane in terms of that. But how are they going to deal with Rain? Like, he's going to be moving around the map. At the same time, they have Jay, who's kind of their, fifth player, who's not really doing all that much. So it's going to be on the consecutive stuns of the Tusk, basically, into like Invoker here, if they want to try and bring down Rain. And those 2 points in the spell shield could be making all the difference.
Yeah, he's pretty tanky now. Hard to bring down. He might be able to just skirt himself away, but he is now going back for the max mana break, which
Goodbye, Fluff. Top lane, he's dead.
He's got the TP actually. The mana void's on cooldown. He's fine.
You put the poison? Oh, look at that. What a player.
Got it.
No stuns. 3 seconds away. Apologies, Fluff. I should have known better. Clearly, he was.
Never
He
doubt
knew.
him. Never doubt him. This
And
guy
he's kind of down the last second. He's like, oh, now I can TP.
This guy makes the plays where just nobody else could. I have always been impressed by Fluff and stuff. I mean, he never. It's not like every game is clearly Fluff and stuff playing out of his mind, but when he does, when he shows his true potential, there's like nothing like it. This guy has a lot going through his head. But do you want to talk about the skill build again? Like, yes, we talked about the value of the spell shield. There's a lot of magical damage coming out. It might be just enough to keep him alive, but we will also see that he went back for the mana break. I feel like if you're gonna put 2 or 3 points in a mana break, that you're gonna want it in the laning phase as well. So I would say, you know, if you're getting that second point in mana break, definitely do it when you're dueling the Morphling as he was. And then of course you go back to the point later. But all in all, he is gonna have a lot of value when he completes that Manta style, having all of his spells kind of where he wants them to be.
Yeah, I think it might have just been the pressure of these fights and battles that they're kind of anticipating here, and there might be another one brewing down on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they're going to jump hard on Amu. He's going to get glimmered up, though. He's got a Dazzle behind him. This is a very difficult kill. Seems nigh impossible. They're just going to back off. So while it is going to be the Darkness and the Lasso popped, it isn't going to be anything favorable for Evernova as Archon are in formation.
That's a pretty nice Glimmer Cape, considering all the different like roaming heroes we have today. Everyone moving in towards, like, we kind of talked about this yesterday, but more towards like Aether Lens and everything like that. Glimmer Cape is another one of those items that did kind of fall off, you know, Solar Crest as well. But a nice little pickup here from my Whitebeard. It's just acting kind of like as a secondary pseudo-shallow grave in a lot of these instances up against both the Glimpse, as your allies are getting repositioned, as well as the Lasso. So solid pickup here, and Moo's just going in. Sandstorm though, the Glimpse and the Cloak should be able to keep him living.
Still holding up quite a bit. Might be enough. No, the Snowball. It's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Anti-Mage now going to be TPing in, and that's going to be Archon on the run. We're going to see a lot of damage going on to Whitebeard. Nice Shadow Wave doing some damage. Will make Raiden hesitate for the pursuit, but one Flame Break will do it. Fluff's TP will be canceled.
Were made.
And that's going to be a 3-for-0. As Fluff is just completely caught out. He's going to try to drag it out as long as possible. Otherwise, this would be just like a straight Roche play for Evernova. But
that self-grave like completely turned the entire fight. If they had gotten off that split, you've got to imagine that they, you know, I think they probably would have won that.
The Snowball made it very difficult, though. Like, that's one thing where it's like, yeah, the Snowball's really cool to give them an extra second to maybe get the split off. But it hurts your teammates as much as it hurts them because of the fact that you can't target him inside that Snowball. So it really messed with the Dazzle there. Couldn't get the Grave off. And Marcus Forever comboing up on the Anti-Mage. Spell Shield gonna be enough to keep him alive. He will keep Blink. He will go on the run. I don't think you can attribute Spell Shield to the 200 HP surplus, but it certainly helped.
Well, considering everyone's going to have at least one anyway, so probably that 8% didn't make the biggest difference. But it's nice. Rain living, you know, we've all been at that point. The whole Yules into the dunk. We've all experienced that life as the support at one point or another. Very frustrating to deal with, but he'll be a-okay. And again, it kind of attributes to that same thing where they definitely do have the potential to bring him down, like you can see right there. Like, had Whitebeard, of course, been nearby to combo up something else into that, the deaths can be there. Well, speaking of Whitebeard, he might be experiencing a little bit of death of his own. Yeah,
actually going to be pulled outside the kinetic field, but they've got the damage to bring him down. And it's going to be Dazzle coming in, but Glimpse back, a beautiful Glimpse from Derp, and Fluff won't be able to save his teammate. It's going to be the Tusk going down. This kill score is massive. It's 17-7. In favor of Evernova. They haven't really had that much control over the map as a whole. Archon have still been pressuring really well, but just looking at that kill score alone, we see that there is a lot of experience advantage going for Evernova. Like, the gold, because of the towers, has been neutralized for the most part, but the experience is still continuing to press for Evernova, and those levels mean a lot.
Yeah, what a strange game considering, you know, being up 10 kills, but you've only managed one tower, and I guess maybe that's just due to the heroes. They don't really have any of your classic pushers. They obviously are playing it a little bit laid back. They're kind of playing 4-on-5 as well, thanks to Rain and just, you know, kind of the issue when you do draft an anti-mage. But when he eventually does come online, it's going to be one of those moments where you just see, like, boom, 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 maybe a Roshan in between, then boom, boom. And, like, suddenly all your towers are down. There'll be a massive infusion of gold on the supports. And that's kind of the whole idea, I think, of what they're, you know, going for here. So we'll see what Archon can actually do against it. And for now, it's going to be the smoke gank.
That ward coming into play already as Derp will go down very quickly, but that is not going to be much follow-through after that. They're definitely not looking to break high ground. They have to defend the split push of the anti-mage, so all in all, it is just going to be that quick pick, and that ward is now very clearly there. Like, they can just kinetic field that and take care of it, but we'll see Rain actually force the Morphling back. This is one unfortunate thing about dealing with an anti-mage that has this much of mana break, is you send one person back to defend, and he will solo you. It's kind of like a Brood Mother that way. You have to actually bring in a couple heroes. Luckily, Jo just clears up the creep wave, Repta gets back to his allies, and they're going to try to look for Roshan, which, although the stats is certainly a possibility for the Bat Rider, otherwise it can't be done.
They've got the vision, though.
They're going to try to snowball him, but very fair to snowball. The Bat Rider caught out, can't get the Aegis, can't get the last hit, and instead it is going to be his own death. That Observer Ward coming into play. I thought he'd take a more western route because you know that the Observer Ward's going to be generally there, but they didn't see that coming. They get the precast on the snowball, and that makes the Bat Rosa very difficult.
Yeah, that was a pretty greedy play, I gotta say. I don't even know if it felt that necessary, honestly. When you have like a Bat Rider and a Static Storm as well to be trying to deal with this Aegis. I don't know. But either way, Archon, they're continuing. They're keeping up this tower pressure despite that deficit in terms of the kills. And we'll see, it's always risky up against the Disruptor. What can they get done? Maybe even an Aegis at the very least?
Yeah, well, an Aegis on a Morphling is something you never really want to go up against. So let me go, completely pulled out of position here. Can they follow it up with enough slows? Obviously, we see the Ice Shard's doing some work, but it's not going to be the jump onto Fluff and stuff. They protect him with the Snowball, but a big Static Storm kinetic field comes out. Doesn't stop the split, but should bring down Jo. One more hit required. No! The Linkage blocks the Mana Void, even though the regular Void comes out, and they'll grave Jo. They're keeping this Aegis alive as he dives in deep. He's going to Strength Warp under the tower while he deals massive damage, wiping out 3. And they still have this Aegis the Immortal on Morphling. He does have 90 strength, so he's going to have to deal with that. When you're this low, you want to go, at 1 HP, and then let the Dazzle heal you back up. Bottle it up as well. But either way, they're in a good position to just keep fighting on the racks. Anti-Mage, without Mana Void, without Manta Style, it's just not his time to fight.
Yeah, honestly, I think Jo had quite a bit of mana anyway, so he might have died, but it wasn't going to be like this massive Ravage or anything like that on the rest of the team. And now going in, we're going to lose the Viper. It's looking like they're in shambles over here on the side of Evernova. Just barely trying to scrap some sort of a defense together. But no lasso again for 15 seconds. I don't know if they even want to be approaching them, even though it's inside their own base right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to defend here right now, so you might as well just let them go. If you keep this fight up, you might be found wanting, as we do have this Morphling just with that second life. It's very scary to go up against, but for now, it's Moo that's taking most of the damage. He's gonna look for the blink away, might get it! Oh, the grave! But there's the flame break to pull him out. Yeah, he's gonna be going down for sure. So it is the sacrifice to be made for that double set of racks, but they couldn't get the TP cancel, and there is only gonna be 1 kill in total, so this is now a much harder game for Evernova. We see Rain about to come online with his Manta style, but the fact is they're playing 1 racks behind, or 1 lane of racks behind. It's just not a good position when the Morphling can split push the map so effectively.
Yeah, that Aegis was just so massive, right? Like, the big major way in terms of a comeback here is some sort of a lasso play on top of the Dazzle, or at least a Static Storm on top of them, while you probably gonna have to go for the Mana Burn and the break onto Jo. It kind of seems like it's the only way they can fight up against them. In terms of the overall net worth, it is just completely catapulted after these series of events here to almost an 8K lead on the side of Team Archon. Moving into your E-Blade here for Jo, assuming that's what he's gonna be going with. And they can just continue to put it up here. This Night Stalker, like, he's got the controlling aspects, obviously through the silence, but you don't have this big AoE setup really that you look for in a lot of these big saves. There's no Ravage or anything like that, you know what I mean, to try and save and set up this Static Storm and Kinetic Field.
Yeah, I would say that's true, but he does bring something to the table that no other support can. This is a 25-minute Night Stalker with a gem of True Sight as well as an Aghanim Scepter. He is countering every ward. He's moving throughout the map. He is getting full vision. Now, we will see that he's going to be a Daywalker for a little bit here. He's got a couple minutes, so 2.5 minutes before he's really potent once more, but this is something that you can't get out of any other hero, is the ability to just completely dominate the enemy's vision to this extent, and it's going to be very frustrating for Archon if they are completely deprived of all their wards along with the Bat Rider hunting, because if the Bat Rider finds the Force Staff on the Morphling to break the Lincolns, then he's still in danger, and anybody else trying to farm by themselves is just guaranteed dead. So I feel like the ganking combination of the Night Stalker and the Bat Rider, combined with the fact that Archon just have absolutely no way of seeing it coming, it's still on Archon to end this game pretty soon, because you just don't want to go late game without any vision and any intel into the enemy's whereabouts.
All right, well, that seems to be the plan here. Everything now back up and available here. Unfortunately, the darkness, okay, it is cooling down now, so that's good. Don't want to take this fight in the daytime, clearly. So, gonna continue to try and burn this Aegis.
For now, he's gonna just be able to siege here on the high ground, get some good damage in, and just wants to make sure he doesn't get caught in like a static storm before he's ready for it. Not that static storming an Aegis that's about to expire is a good idea, but
yeah,
he just always gotta be ready for the opponent's next play.
So close, but there she goes.
So we're going to see him just running on the one life here. He'll have to play a little bit more defensive with his HP pool, but in the meantime, that Brewmaster illusion is soaking up a lot of hate, and we're going to just see them go right onto the barracks. They've got the weave, they've got the Glimmer Cape coverage. The Jail's fine. He's under the static storm, but he doesn't give a shit. There's the anti-mage split pushing up top, but there's too much structural damage happening on the bottom lane as well. We're going to see them commit fully for this barracks. The Crippling Fear is going to slow it a little bit, but there's a big meteor. Definitely blast combo. The mechanism will keep the Viper up for now, but he's not in a good position to fight. No, Jo will follow through and finish him off, getting himself, setting up 2 kills. We do see the anti-mage killing off Lucky's forever, but he gets graved at the last second and can't finish the job. We're going to see the Bat Rider buyback. That is, they have 2 buybacks left, but there's nothing left to defend again. They have lost 2 lanes of racks. The anti-mage has taken out only half a tier 3 tower. The Rat is dead, and it looks like Evernova's hopes in game 1 are as well. Yeah,
I mean, talking about all this map control and everything they did have, but although that was certainly true, they didn't seem to have anything that could actually capitalize upon it. Like, it did give a lot of space to Rain, certainly. It did help in making sure that he did only get picked off once this whole game, so definitely one of the benefits that is provided by this Night Stalker, and he definitely had one of the earlier Aghanim Scepters you're going to see. They had a higher kill count, but nothing ever got turned into an objective, and just not lowering down and reducing the total income that's coming onto the Ways of Archon, they were punished heavily for that. So it was very easy for the rest of the squad to kind of pick themselves up, move into these second-tier items here, and it's what's just taking over this game. They're just making their way into that final racks, and it doesn't seem like anything can stop them besides a fluke, kind of like lucky mana void in a sense.
Yeah, like obviously it's much more common to talk about core item pickups than support ones for in general in Dota 2, but I feel like these support item pickups have been really valuable. The Glimmer Capes in particular have been showing time and time again what they can do in the midst of the engagement, and it just makes it a lot more difficult for Evernova to focus a single target when they've got all those answers.
Is under attack.
We'll see. Evernova will search for answers for their final siege coming forth. I think the Bat Rider has to just make this massive play somehow. I guess they pop the Linkets, they pull them halfway across the base for 4-step. I'm not too sure, but they need something big.
Alright, well, they're waiting. They're trying something here. Viper strikes on the J. Look at this. It's just like a static storm last time. Monkeys comes in. It's looking at 1 man tornado.
Meteor deafening blast. The mechanism's still going to come out, but look at that damage. The E-Blade waveform goes through. Jo strength morphing it up as he is caught in the cripple. He's going to lose all his damage. Morphling is now a stunner and no longer a damage dealer. He's going to rely on his teammates to do the rest of the job for him. Jo is actually sitting here with 120 attack damage, but we're going to see the Bat Rider combo fail to connect, and it doesn't even matter. Without the Viper, without their team fight, the game is done. The racks have fallen, and in Evernova called good game in game 1.
Yeah, I don't know. You kind of felt like throughout that beginning, you're just watching the kills, you're watching the pickoffs, you're feeling really good about it. Mercy Please, he had a great impact during the early stages of the laning phase. Coming on in, we saw the pressure that was put on Jo by going aggressive with the Anti-Mage, and it kind of felt like they were doing so well in the lanes. He had the double kill top on the Bat Rider, and then just there was kind of nothing. Like, Anti-Mage, obviously he's sitting back and farming, but it kind of seems like the issue was that 4 core of the draft weren't able to accomplish anything on their own versus what Archon had brought to the table, and that's where it all fell apart.
Yeah, and while I did like the opening of the Bat Rider, the Night Stalker, I started scratching my head a little bit in the draft when it came to the Disruptor pickup, because if you want to go for big AoE teamfight, you kind of have to have an AoE follow-up, a Gyrocopter at the very least, but they went for a Viper and Anti-Mage, 2 very single-target focused heroes, and the Anti-Mage wasn't even really a combat hero until the game was practically over. So just in general, I don't feel like the Disruptor, like the Disruptor Kinetic Field Static Storms, there were a lot of really good ones, but there wasn't enough damage to follow it up. Usually just the Dazzle Shadow Wave just negated half the damage you received, and there just really wasn't any taking advantage of it. It really wasn't the combo they were looking for. So while I liked half their draft in one way and I liked half their draft in another way, the two pieces just didn't fit together here. So we'll have to see how they can try to bring it back here for game number 2. Once again, Evernova have taken game 1 of this best of 3 series here in the first round of the BTS series America's number 3. And that's going to be bringing us to the second game here in just a few minutes. Thanks once again for tuning in. I myself am Blaze. You can follow me at BlazeCasting. My main man MotPax over at MotPax. And one last shout out I'm going to give to you guys in chat for, I've just seen kind of in the corner of my eye, you guys are actively discussing the game, a lot of the heroes, and that's always fun to see. I'm not the meme police or anything, but I do like to see some good Dota chat going on, so keep it up. We'll see you guys in a few minutes for game number 2.